Hello everyone, my name is Foster Davis. I'm the Deputy CEO Operations Manager at Murray Mallee Aged Care, and I'm here with Anna Howard, the CEO of Murray Mallee Aged Care Group, and welcome to the Support at Home podcast special. So we're going to be doing a deep dive into everything support at home and just having a conversation about that to provide you hopefully with some information and answer any questions that you might have coming into the changes and the reform. So did you want to give us a little bit of an overview of what is support at home to start?
Thank you, Foster. Yes, the Support at Home program has been designed to replace three former programs: the Home Care Packages program, the Short-Term Restorative Care program, and the Commonwealth Home Support program. It was due to come into play on the 1st of July this year. However, it's been delayed until the 1st of November this year. And the other thing to remember is that the Commonwealth Home Support program, although it's part of the long-term merging process, it's not going to merge into the other two programs into the one support home at home program until 2027.
Do you think it will be, or what's your view on how clients will perceive it? Do you think it'll be a big noticeable change? Do you think it'll be a gradual change for them, a shock or not a shock?
Well, as you know, Foster, we've been doing a lot of work the last 3 or so months informing our clients and our staff about what is coming into, what is changing. And having said that, it's not that straightforward. It is quite complicated. What was the Home Care Packages program with 4 levels is now going to be the Support at Home program with 8 levels. There wasn't a client contribution. There will be a client contribution moving forward. However, those people who have been with us since the Home Care Packages program was established, but before the 12th of September last year, will be grandfathered under the original agreements of the Home Care Packages program. So that's an advantage to those people who have been with us for a long time. Those new people that join us after November won't know the difference, but there will be a group of people that have become, part of the service world since September last year and November this year, who will be called transitioned clients, and they will be moved from one set of rules to the other. So that's going to be more complicated for those people. Fortunately, we only have a few clients in that situation, so we should be able to guide them carefully and inform them thoroughly about the changes afoot.
And I think that's one of the areas that clients have the most angst about is the contributions and how much they'll be required to pay, if they can afford it, and they have a lot of apprehension around that, and knowing what they're going to have to pay, which, to be very clear, obviously we don't necessarily know because it's related to Services Australia and their assessment and their income and their assets. But what are we doing as an organisation to kind of guide that process and to be in the know and to give them some sort of notice? Is there anything?
Well, again, we've been addressing that through the town halls, through newsletters that are circulated regularly. Our finance team is working really hard to understand the implications of the new pricing model. One of the things that I tell people, in fact, I was having afternoon tea with an uncle and 2 elderly aunts, and they were asking lots of questions because one already is a recipient of a level 3, and my uncle is a self-funded retiree. And he's in his mid-80s now and saying, well, where do I fit in? What could I access? And I explained to him, the situation and pointed out one of the really good things about the program is that even self-funded retirees don't have to pay for clinical care, whereas under the previous rules, people were ruled out by incomes and asset testing. So I think that's one of the great aspects of the program, is that everyone, regardless of their financial situation, can access the clinical care that they need, which is, usually what ends up tipping people into nursing homes is because they can't remain at home with the higher level clinical needs that they have. There will be charges now to there are 3 categories of care that will be provided. That's clinical, independent living and
activities of daily living.
So the activities of daily living, they will be more highly charged. They'll be charged at a higher rate than even the independent activities, which once again is a good thing, because those people with personal care needs will get charged a lesser rate than someone that just wants their gardening done or their cleaning done. So there are some positive aspects.
And I think it will see, hopefully, a shift in mindset. I think there's been that mindset of care or home care, or the government's going to fund absolutely everything. And we do have, and we see families, and we've definitely seen it at the town halls, families thinking holistically about their parents or loved ones. Mum loves this, so will that be funded on the program, or will this happen? And it's moving really towards that. Well, no, this is a care, a needs-based thing. It's really about keeping people independent, keeping people healthy, keeping people at home, reducing burden on the public health system as well in that way, if people can stay at home. It's about taxpayers as well, being able to, pay for that. It's not as much about the lifestyle kind of leisure elements anymore. It's a part of it, but it's not anything and everything.
And I think that's a good point you raised, Foster. And I think what we've seen in the last 20 odd years is a change in what people are seeking. That we used to run a social support group called Kaleidoscape, and it was, the format was a monthly meeting with a meal and some activities. But we found that the demand for that over the years has dwindled, and people are much more excited about doing bus trips or, other activities. And so I think, and people are ageing with different expectations these days. The quiet generation, sadly, is moving on. Those people who were post-World War II people who didn't have great expectations of what they were entitled to, but we've got the boomer generation, of which I will, full disclosure, am part of that generation. And we have to be very mindful of that sense of entitlement, because we have on the table at the moment the topic of productivity is being debated as we speak, because we don't want to break the country, and we want to protect our younger generation.
And I think it's positive in a lot of ways too for the client, because obviously under the current system they build up their budget, and we know that lots of clients have these kind of big budgets of unspent, unused funds. And I think there's that scarcity mindset, which we've been talking about a little bit lately, where people feel they need to hold on to it, not probably fully realising that, that will go back to the government when their services stop. That will go back into that kitty there. And so now that clients can't, under the new program, build up these huge budgets, there'll be more incentive to actually use the funding for the care and services that they need. So hopefully that uptake will increase for the important things, and they won't feel that need to kind of deny it or feel guilty about using it.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a really good point, because I think you've hit the nail on the head. People do feel guilty when they're spending on themselves, and they don't understand that money is for them. It's not for things. It's for their well-being and betterment of their life in that last phase of their life, which hopefully is a long phase, but one that's comfortable and enables them to be as independent as they want to be. And you know, the figure that we hear about, as you know, in the media and through our government and the government and peak body Ageing Australia, there's something like $4 billion in unspent money, and that money could be distributed to other people who are on waiting lists and unable to access services. Because I guess this is probably a point where I can highlight the fact that aged care, unlike veterans home care or NDIS, is a ration system. So not everyone that needs it will get it, because there are only so many places available per 1,000 people over the age of 70. So there will be those people who simply don't get anything because of that rationing formula.
And that really kind of speaks to, I guess, why the change is happening. You know, we know that the older population and the people who are eligible for care in Australia, we know that's growing exponentially. We know that the people in that kind of working age group is not growing at the same speed, and there's lots, you know, I'm not a politician, but there's lots to be done there as well, and done with migration, but demand is really exceeding supply, so the country does have to look at how to use the funds more effectively, more efficiently, more productively. Thank you for watching this episode. If you have any further questions, you can go to the My Aged Care website. You can call us on 8532 2255 or go to our website murraymalley.org.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.